My name is Pandambe. I'm going to start Metal Slug speedrun. Let's go.
Bien hecho, mi amigo. Yes, the SNK community and especially the Metal Slug community is a worldwide one. Especially Latin America is a big place for it. Fran is from Mexico. We will also have runners later today from Argentina and Chile. This is the very first Metal Slug, arguably the most straightforward of the Metal Slug games and the one that introduced the action. It is extremely high-paced all the way through, especially in a speedrun context. This is one of those games that if you ever had like a family fun center, an entertainment center, something like that in your area, there were lots of games like this. A lot of them were like your Area 51s, the games that were very like serious looking. This is kind of in some ways the opposite of that. This is a game that is like fun to look at, fun to play. And as you can tell from friends' reactions here at the end of level 1 already, there's a lot going on. Most, if not all of our runners, I think everything except the last run during our 30th anniversary celebration will actually be played on the Neo Geo AES, or Arcade Entertainment System versions of the games, which are the original versions and do introduce one notable thing that differentiates them, which is slowdown. Slowdown is actually often very helpful in games this high-paced. It gives you brief but predictable moments of having more time to react to what's going on. And as you will see, especially as we get later into this, that becomes very, very important. Yeah, chat already sharing reminiscences of spending a lot to play some of these arcade versions. I had the opportunity to derust on the plane to and from SGDQ to play each of these games casually. And yeah, it would have been a lot of quarters or 50-cent plays. So much of these games, especially the first one here, is down to just being in the right place at the right time, knowing exactly what you're doing and which weapons, because those are deterministic drops. The POWs that you rescue do have specific drops for you, so part of the run will incorporate finding the right prisoners to have weapon drops or ammo refills when you need them. If you pick up a weapon that is different than the one you currently have, it will replace your current. It's not until later on in the series that you gain the ability to hold multiple weapons at once, but with how quick this action goes and these mini bosses come up and down, we genuinely just don't need different weapons all that often. Fran will be very careful about which POWs get interacted with, because they stop to briefly thank you and then drop an item. Very well done. The first appearance of the SV001, the super vehicle, or the the namesake of the franchise, the Metal Slug itself. So we briefly saw that, and then we also saw the use of the frontal attack. There is a specific thing you can do when your Metal Slug still has some HP. You can actually fire it off as kind of a desperation attack that does a large amount of damage in an AoE, and then jettisons you out of it. Our first opportunity to see the recurring antagonist, or one of the recurring antagonists of the Metal Slug series, Donald Morden.
Oh my god.
And we are through our next level with only one life used so far. So it's not like there are inherently different categories for 1 credit clears in this game, but naturally you saw the respawn in from the life lost in this game, that doing it on a single life or at least a single credit is just genuinely fastest. And for those of you already excited about and sharing your reminiscences in the chat, there are things happening for the Metal Slug 30th anniversary. There is a new game recently announced, so looking forward to hearing more about that myself, as I know all of you are. And there are also a lot of recent games. Metal Slug Attack Reloaded is a tower defense take on the franchise. And I think there's also a game available on mobile devices right now. But there should be more to come, and I can't disagree with you about the idea of a collection. Would be a very fun way to get to experience these again. Because like I said, the speedrun preferred way is frequently the arcade versions. All right, Alan O'Neill, he of, yep, very close-up swipes. You will often find, as we did in Dark Souls, if you were watching earlier, that one of the most useful strategies is being very, very close to your enemies, but we don't have a health bar here, so any hit is completely lethal unless you happen to be in a vehicle. That's the only time you get a health bar. Friend making extremely quick work of some of these. You know, there are pillboxes on the ground, and I would consider some of these screens essentially pillboxes if you're playing them casually. Love the effect of the soldier flying towards the screen there. But yeah, these are screens that are meant to box you in, and a very talented player like Fran can just charge ahead and know exactly where they're going. We have people asking in the chat what consoles these have been available on. The Metal Slug series was principally available on the Neo Geo, both the AES, the arcade system, and the MVS, which was the home Neo Geo. Not surprised if a lot of English-speaking and US-based players are not super familiar with those consoles. They weren't the most common. They did have a relatively high asking price, especially compared to the likes of the SNES and the Genesis in their time. But if you were lucky, like some of us, to have a Metal Slug game, for me, I think it was 3 and 4 in a local arcade. Those were some really terrific introductions to the franchise. We are done with Mission 3. This is arguably the most straightforward in the franchise, as far as every game or every mission just has a really quick start and stop. Kind of follows each other with similar environments, and I like that we got to have a vertical stage. I was actually talking to one of our other runners just last night about how verticality is relatively uncommon in the series because, you know, it also adds the additional difficulty of precision platforming. If you fall down, the bottom of the screen is an immediate kill plane, so I also love that Fran is proceeding here without the Metal Slug because it is that much faster with the amount of extra bombs that we have and the shotgun. Shotgun, one of the very strongest weapons in the series and one that has maintained a lot of its major properties throughout the series. The flamethrower here is actually kind of, to my liking, better in this game. I like it better in this game when it is kind of the fireball that is a projectile. In some of the later games that we'll see today, when you pick up the flamethrower, it is a close-range projectile around your weapon. So it's nice for coverage and things close to you. But if you're like me and you're not quite confident enough to stay super close to your enemies, the flamethrower in this game is possibly the best. Yeah, as mentioned in chat, the kind of inflection point was the arcade system was the hardware was super difficult to get a hold of, but the games were less expensive because it was meant for arcade operators. Whereas the home console was kind of the opposite. There are a lot of amazing SNK games and franchises. King of Fighters is one that's still out there right now, and thankfully those series are continuing to get more accessible over time, and hope the same will be true of Metal Slug here on the occasion of the 30th anniversary. Love the bottom turret on this boss. Basically waiting just a moment so you might have tried to walk under it and start fighting from down there before discouraging you. A very Dark Souls-like trap. Oh, and the game knowledge and reactions from Fran here to stay out of the way of the enemies. Question about character choice in the run. I don't believe it makes a big difference in Metal Slug 1. You will see character choice on our categories if you take a look between runs, that there are some differences in who's being played as we go on, because there are some differences in how large the weapon pickups are depending on character as the series goes on. So there are some characters like Fio and Eri who tend to get more ammo each time they pick up a weapon and have some slight downsides to compensate. We are, in fact, already almost done with Metal Slug here, with just 1 or 2 slugs put into the machine. An extremely, extremely hectic play here on the final level from Fran. but incredibly talented. Yes, I do believe, as per a follow-up comment in chat, that the hitboxes on the characters are slightly different, so that is part of what compensates for the differences in pickups that players get. And a classic, what would become an ongoing trademark of the series, in that you get to see a final boss, you get to feel like you're very close to it, but you're not quite done just yet. Get one of our few emplaced weapons here at the end of the first game. But as you can see, even getting over to the turret, much less using it, is very, very dangerous. The fact that we have the shotgun, have potentially another shotgun waiting for us on the left side of the screen that we won't pick up just yet, because if you lose a life, you will lose any excess bombs and weapons available to you. So I think Fran is being very deliberate in making sure that we get our weapon pickups lined up with the POWs that are dropped off here, extra grenades. We may just not need the extra ammo. So a question about progression and how those sorts of things work. Oh, riding on missiles. Just effortlessly cool. Yeah, if you lose all your lives on a continue and you put in another credit to the machine, you will continue from where you're at. Otherwise, the game would restart entirely. You know, you get sent to a game over where you have one last chance to put a credit in. Using that frontal attack very, very skillfully. And there we go. Now it's time for our shotgun ammo. And the extra pickups in the water. The Utan, our primate friend, who will actually become a companion item later on in the series. The monkey goes from being a pickup to actually, when you collect him, there's a couple of different items later on in Metal Slug 3 and 4 that actually give you a companion fighter when you pick them up. And it's time, the final boss of the original Metal Slug. Thankfully, Morden is less fearsome than his reputation would lead you to believe, in that you can easily stagger him, especially when you have as many grenades and shotgun shells as Fran does. On into the second phase, made apparent by the change up in attacks and the damage sustained by the helicarrier itself. And that's time.
Yes!
GG's, my friend. Well done. Muy, muy bien hecho. Anything you want to tell the people, Fran?
Yes.
With just a single continue, a full playthrough of Metal Slug in under 13 minutes.
Thank you, thanks.
GG's, Viva Mexico, and Viva Metal Slug. Yeah. Bren and I have had the opportunity to talk. Bren and I have had the opportunity to talk a lot over the last few weeks, and he shared with me his passion for Metal Slug, shared with me the many things that he's done in speedrunning over the years. He is also a runner of many retro games.
Thanks for the stream.
Por supuesto. Thank you for playing. But yeah, I think this is the story that you will hear from many people who run older franchises, ones that are held up by passion, is that one of the things that kept Fran playing Metal Slug in particular is having played it in arcades with his father from a very young age. And he told me a story about when he was practicing for this run, his father came in and said, oh, you know, you used to play this and have such a hard time, but now I'm watching you run it without needing to continue at all. It's very impressive. And, you know, that's the story of speedrunning in a nutshell.
But at least he was able to turn things around.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Entonces, muy bien una vez más. And that is the first Metal Slug. But do not go anywhere. During this Metal Slug 30th anniversary, we will be showing many more games from the franchise. Coming up next is Metal Slug X, the revised version of Metal Slug 2. Stay tuned for more fast-paced run-and-gun action here on the GDQ Hotfix.
Thanks for watching. I'll keep improving. Cheers, my bros. Thanks.